This week we begin reading the Torah again as we begin Parshat Beresheet. This is because we just celebrated Simchat Torah, this holiday that for over 1,000 years has been the day at which we begin reading the Torah cycle from the beginning of the book of Genesis, just as soon as we finish it. It was 2 years ago, of course, in 2023 on Simchat Torah that Hamas so brutally attacked Israel and Israelis, leading to this war that, God willing, has ended or begun a long, God willing, ceasefire, a lasting, hopefully, pause in the fighting, so that everyone who has been unjustly affected by this can recover, both Israelis and Palestinians, and thank God, this Simchat Torah saw the release of all living hostages. What does that have to do with the book of Genesis? In the Garden of Eden story, the serpent never quite lies to Chava, never quite lies to Eve, just tells a number of half-truths or enough sort of misleading statements to sort of cause her to question her position enough and allow her to rationalize doing something that seems like it will be desirable short-term. The fruit is desirable, but of course, work to her advantage long-term. It's kicked out of the Garden of Eden, right? All these curses, etc., right? So it is that sort of something that seems desirable, but in fact is long-term problematic. This, I have to say, part of what has become clear this week that we can say with the benefit of hindsight, that for those of us that never joined in calls for an immediate ceasefire in Israel and in Gaza, it's not that we were opposed to stopping the killing. Quite the opposite. The fewer dead civilians, the better, because each one is a tragedy, and there are thousands of innocents who died. Thousands of tragedies, tens of thousands. And without giving back the hostages, without Hamas agreeing to lay down its arms and to forego governance of Gaza, whether that last couple happened or not, we don't know, but that's what they allegedly agreed to. Without those things happening, there would be no end of conflict, and a ceasefire would have been a short-term pause leading to more death, more destruction. Israelis deserve better, Palestinians deserve better, Hamas deserves worse. All of that. So by not calling for an immediate ceasefire, by calling for return of hostages and for Hamas to lay down its arms, we were looking for a durable ceasefire, and that is what it seems has been achieved. It was difficult to do in the moment, because of how horrible war is, and because of part of the first Torah portion in the book of Genesis, in the first chapters, we learn that violence is part of the human condition, unfortunately, maybe unavoidably. And by seeking return of hostages and Hamas laying down its arms, we in fact have been and are seeking a better future for Israelis and Palestinians. This became more clear this week, and that any other option, an option that leaves Hamas in charge, an option that would leave hostages, God forbid, in Hamas's hands, that's taking the apple. That seems tempting in the moment, but in fact is a short-term solution when there are better alternatives out there. We have to remember, the Garden of Eden story isn't to teach us history, it's to teach us part of the human condition. We can be deceived by short-term solutions that yield worse long-term results. We're supposed to be able to try and think deeply and envision what will lead to those best long-term results. Both our earliest stories and what we've learned this week reiterate those same points. Shabbat Shalom.